Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to day 3 of our series, Teaching Children 10 Skills in 10 Days. Today's topic might make some parents clutch their pearls. Knives. Yes, we are going there. Because in the real world, knives are tools that our children will eventually need to use. The question is, will they be equipped or unprepared? The thing is, when they're young, they get to make small mistakes. And if they're allowed to make those small mistakes, it saves them from making bigger, deadlier mistakes when they're older. When I was learning to drive, my instructor would repeatedly tell me, it is not about how skillful you are as a driver that's going to make you pass your driving test. Rather, how safe of a driver you are. Even if you make dozens of mistakes, like taking the wrong turn, going in the wrong lane on the roundabouts. As long as you do these safely and correct your mistakes safely, you'll be fine. It is all about convincing your examiner that you're not a threat on the road. That's all it takes to pass. And you'll have a lifetime to improve your skills as a driver. It is exactly the same thing letting your child use a knife. It's all about safety. How safely can they make mistakes? Wrong cuts, uneven pieces, all of that is okay, as long as they're doing it safely. When you hand your child a knife, you're telling them, I trust you. I know you're capable. Think of what that does to a child's confidence levels. Okay, so here's how we will do it. First of all, you will demonstrate those steps to your child and have them follow. We're going to start simple. First of all, we let them use a butter knife or a crinkle cutter. I've found that crinkle cutters have a better grip for tiny hands. However, some metallic versions might be sharper, so assess them before introducing it to your child. SubhanAllah, these images of crinkle cutters were pretty hard to obtain. I've had to spend a lot of time and some money. But you ladies are worth all my time, efforts, and money. May Allah accept it from us. With butter knives or crinkle cutters, we're only going to cut soft foods with it, like bananas, strawberries, or avocados, or pizzas and pancakes. The technique is to always use a stable cutting board on a non-slip surface. To show them, we take the cutting board from here and put it on this surface over here. And then we get the fruit and the butter knife. And we use a bare paw grip. So the helping hand is curved like a paw to hold the fruit in place. Show them to slowly press it down, then slice. Model it slowly and calmly, and your calm becomes their calm. And the golden rule is, the knife stays on the board. The knife stays on the board. You say it enough times, they'll learn it. Where does the knife stay? On the board. And if you see them wandering with their knife, always ask, where does the knife stay? And they'll remember, quickly come back and put it on the board. Now this is where to start. 2+ can do it. But if you're 5 years old, has not yet been introduced to knife, then probably this is where you should start with them as well. However, don't let them use the butter knife to cut hard fruits like apples or cucumbers, because it's really hard and they will just get discouraged. Now, from ages 5 and up, you can let your child use a dull normal knife, also called a paring or serrated knife, but always with a close supervision. Now you can introduce slightly firmer foods like cucumbers, zucchini, or boiled potatoes, and teach them the bare claw and always cut away from your body. In case of any mistakes or slips, the knife shouldn't come towards your body. If your child can demonstrate using the dull knife safely in his everyday life, then around age 7, you can introduce your knife as well. And ladies, expect a few cuts and scrapes along the way. Yes. I mean, none of us have learned how to use a knife properly without getting some cuts and scrapes here and there. Safe. May Allah protect our kids. Teach them that cleaning up is part of the process. So you'll demonstrate to them how to handle and wash a knife safely. Here are some safety rules to teach your children. First of all, use the right knife for your age. To each child, you can show them which knife to use. For example, 2-3 years old, you can show them this is where butter knives are and these are the only knives you're going to use. Older children, you would show them a dull knife to use and show them this specific knife is yours to use. However, if it's not available, you cannot move on to other knives because those might not be safe, because those are for grown-ups, might be way too sharp. Number 2, the knife stays on the board. No waving, pointing, or playing with knives. Always keep it on the cutting board. Ladies, if you have boys, you would know how obsessed they can get with fighting and weapons, being a hero or killing the bad guy and things like that. And they might be tempted to use a butter knife or a regular knife in their imaginative play. However, it is very important that they don't use knives in their play. It's a grave matter in Islam. We should teach them this hadith. Prophet ﷺ said, لا يشير أحدكم على أخيه بالسلاح. None of you must point a weapon at his brother. فإنه لا يدري. For he does not know. لعل الشيطان ينزع في يده فيقع في حفرة من النار. He does not know whether perhaps the shaitan may draw it out while it's in his hand, might cause his hands to slip and he might hurt his brother, and as a result of which he will fall into a pit in hell. And this hadith is in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. So he might end up killing his brother. Use age-appropriate language when you're explaining this hadith to your children. If they're old enough, you can talk about accidentally killing someone. However, if they're just 2, 3, or 4, you might just want to keep it to shaitan can cause you to make mistakes and hurt someone. Number 3 is slow hands are safe hands. So take your time. Rushing leads to accidents. And then bare paw for the helping hand. And always cut away from your body. And always keep some space around you. So no crowding while someone is using a knife. Also no distractions while cutting. So focus while using a knife. No talking, playing, or looking away. Only when you're done and you've put the knife on the board, then you can step away or talk and play and whatever you want to do. And clean up safely. Always carry knives with the point down. While washing the knife, you must never touch the cutting side of it. It might cut your fingers, so it should be done safely as modeled by grown-ups. You would have conquered today's challenge when you send done in the comments. Also, I would love to see what your child ends up cutting. Please send the picture in our WhatsApp group.